Hi, I'm Tim. Join me in this video as I talk about the 5 types of TFRs, or temporary flight restrictions, special use airspace, that if you violate it with your RC airplane and drone, you can get into a lot of trouble very quick. Let's get to it. As we fly our drones or RC model aircraft, we have become aware through training, either for Part 107 commercial operations or the trust test for recreational flyers, that there is a thing called controlled airspace in the United States run by the FAA. The key thing we have to understand as modelers is before we can fly into controlled airspace anywhere, we need permission to fly into that airspace. Full-scale aircraft routinely get that permission by talking on the radios. For us modelers, we have to be aware that the controlled airspace exists. We can do that on the Before You Fly app, which I'll cover in greater detail in a later video, or we can check the NOTAMs on the FAA website, but we need to get permission before we fly if we want to fly into controlled airspace. The most normal controlled airspaces modelers that we've run into with our training is the ones with letters. It's called Class B, C, D, or E airspace by the FAA. This is very routine airspace. It's published on sectional charts. All pilots know about it. It exists 24/7 for the use of pilots. And again, like any controlled airspace, you need to have permission before you can fly into that airspace. If you want to fly your drone into controlled airspace, B, C, D, or E, it's usually possible. You just have to get permission from the controlling FAA agency. The second type of airspace, before we get into the TFRs, that you need to be aware of is restricted and special use airspace. Restricted airspace is published on charts. It's clearly labeled. It'll have an R with some sort of number. There'll be an agency that owns that restricted airspace. You need to be aware of the restricted airspace because hazardous activities could be going on in that restricted area. There could be live ammunition exercises. There could be some sort of classified military flight training. There could be a very large-scale exercise like the red flag exercises near Las Vegas, Nevada. You need permission before you can go into any restricted airspace. Sometimes the restricted airspace is what they call cold or inactive. At that time, the airspace is turned over to the FAA Air Traffic Control. If you want to take pictures with your drone, you'll have to coordinate with the controlling outfit for that airspace. The other subset of that special use airspace is P, or prohibited airspace. There's not a lot of prohibited airspace in the United States. One that comes to mind immediately is the circle around the White House in Washington, D.C. Prohibited airspace is prohibited. Nobody flies into that airspace under any circumstances at any time. The third type of controlled airspace and the focus of this video are TFRs, or temporary flight restrictions. TFRs are important because they can be a real gotcha for both full-scale and radio-controlled drone RC pilots. The reason they can get you is TFRs are temporary flight restriction. They can pop up in a matter of hours, and depending on the type of the 5 TFRs, the FAA and authorities take them very, very seriously. If you violate certain types of TFRs that we'll get into, you could literally be caught by the police and sent to jail. And the fact that you didn't know it was there or you weren't aware of it doesn't matter. Again, to determine where these TFRs are, they're listed by NOTAMs, which are notices to airmen. NOTAMs are published on the FAA.gov website. You can go to the FAA.gov website to look for TFRs. And the Before You Fly app, sponsored by the FAA, can show you where these TFRs are. There are 5 types of TFRs and temporary flight restrictions. They're presidential TFRs, special event TFRs, stadium TFRs, disaster natural hazard TFRs, and space launch TFRs. Let's go through those, each one by one, and we can discuss the special characteristics. You need to be aware of all of them. They're all restricted airspace, controlled airspace, but some are more important than others. The most important TFR are presidential TFRs, and if you want to take away a single important thing in this video, be aware of and respect presidential TFRs, because there is no fooling around with the Secret Service when they're in charge of that presidential TFR. So let me read you from the regulation that authorizes these things. This is the Title 14, the Code of Federal Regulations 91.141. Flight restrictions on the proximity of presidential and other parties. It doesn't have to be just the president, it can be the vice president, other high government officials. The reg says no person may operate an aircraft over or in the vicinity of any area to be visited or traveled by the president, vice president, or other public figures, contrary to the restrictions established by the FAA Administrator and published in NOTAMs. So that's the authorization to do it. The presidential TFRs could literally pop up 24 hours or less before the event. As whenever the president decides where they're going to go, there could be a change of plans, in which case that presidential TFR will follow wherever the Air Force One lands, and then wherever the presidential party goes for a speaking or meeting, that TFR is centered at that location. The presidential TFRs go out to 30 nautical miles, and there have been numerous reports the president could be in a fairly unforeseen location, say in Minnesota, where you don't have a lot of presidential activity. There's a 30-mile ring around that presidential TFR. There's some private pilot, let alone a drone or RC pilot, that clips the outer 2 miles of that TFR. Black Hawk helicopters is dispatched, the plane is forced down, and the pilot was literally taken out at gunpoint and faced the loss of his license. So again, as we all imagine, presidential TFR is very serious. Be aware of them. The Before You Fly app is a key to know where those are, and you're never going to get permission to fly in a presidential TFR, but you can get into a lot of trouble if you are not aware they're located and you fly your RC drone in that area. The next type of TFR, temporary flight restriction, allows the FAA to set the TFR's different dimensions for air shows and other special events. So air shows are a very common occurrence. The air show is important because there'll be a lot of flight activity. They could attract a lot of observers. And the idea that a light aircraft, let alone a drone or an RC model, is in there just is not going to be conducive to safety, either the people participating in the air show or observers of the air show. The other thing that can come under this type of TFR is special events. It could be a large irregular gathering, say a major golf tournament or the Olympics. That can require the need for a TFR under those circumstances. Again, Before You Fly can let you know if one exists. The next TFR that is the FAA is authorized to issue is what they nickname the Stadium Temporary Flight Restriction. This is for sporting events at stadiums. The stadium, the restrictions are the TFR is at or below 3,000 feet AGL. It goes out to 3 miles around the stadium, and the stadium has to be 30,000 people or more that will trigger this TFR. The TFR begins an hour before the sporting event and it lasts until an hour after the sporting event. And you're probably not going to get permission to fly a drone or an RC model airplane in a stadium TFR just because there's so many people there. And the FAA, as we know from our training, is very concerned about RC aircraft possibly injuring spectators who are not aware that they might be in a dangerous situation from an unmanned aircraft. These stadium TFRs apply to baseball, NFL football games, NCAA Category 1 football games, and they can be applied anywhere within the continental United States. The fourth of the 5 TFRs are disaster areas. These are involving things like wildfires or natural disasters that has a fairly concentrated government response in dealing with that situation. Wildfires are a special concern of the FAA because the fires move very quickly. There's a great deal of air activity, dangerous activity, large aircraft dropping fire retardant onto the flames, possibly people jumping out of airplanes to fight the fires, picking up people. And they have had cases many times because drone operators like to take pictures of these fires, of drones in the area of operations of these fires. What will happen is one of the aircraft flying will say, we see a drone in the area. They have to shut down operations for a period of time until they can determine if the drone is a hazard to those firefighting aircraft. Again, the FAA takes these very seriously. Again, be aware of hazardous areas, natural disaster, TFR impositions. The final type of the 5 TFRs is space operations. Clearly, there's an increasing amount of activity of rockets being sent into space from the United States in various locations, primarily Florida and California. The TFR established over that launch clearly would attract a lot of interested people to watch that. Be aware of the TFR. We just don't want to get in that or interfere in any way with a launch of a rocket into space. Thank you for joining me in this video. Again, anytime there's controlled airspace, we need permission before we get into the airspace. With drones and RC model aircraft, we're not talking on any radios. That permission has to be coordinated ahead of time. And the focus was the TFR. The TFRs are extremely important restricted airspace, but they're not charted in any charts. They can come and go depending on the event that they're going to protect. It is up to us as modelers to check before you fly or the FAA website where these TFRs are located so we don't accidentally fly into those because the consequences can be severe.